Assalamu alaikum. This is Mr. Professor and you are watching Mr. Professor YouTube channel. So friends, in our previous videos we were discussing only grammar, but in this video we will discuss about communication. As we know, we all are human beings and we need to communicate with others to share our ideas, to deliver our observations or whatever which comes in our mind. We have to deliver certain ideas, we have to deliver those particular ideas with one another. So this is called communication. Basically in this video we will discuss only about communication, that what is communication, what are the types of communication, what actually the communication process is, what are the dimension of communication. So without wasting our time, let's go towards our topic. So, what is communication? Basically, the imparting or exchanging of information by speaking, writing, or using some other medium. So, it means this is the definition of Oxford Dictionary. I have taken this from Oxford Dictionary. So, basically, this means that we are going to exchange our ideas, we are going to exchange our feelings or thoughts through something or some mediums like speaking, writing, or using other mediums. Okay, so it means basically the communication is the exchanging of information through speaking, writing, or using other mediums according to the Oxford Dictionary. Okay, so after that we have communication is the act of giving, receiving, and sharing information. So, in other definition, we have that communication is the process of giving, receiving, sharing, or interacting with one another. We can say this is communication. In other words, talking or writing, and listening or reading. So basically, reading is also a kind of, we can say, communication, because we read something. For example, someone has written us a letter. Now we are going to read it. This is communication, because we have come to know what another wanted to say us, what he wanted to communicate with us, what he wanted to deliver with us. So we can say this is communication. So from this we can say that basically communication is the process of sharing of our information, our ideas to someone. Okay, so after that we have communication process. What is communication process? Because basically this is a process. With the help of this we can say that this is how the communication take places. This is how communication works. So for example, we have sender. This is the person that is delivering a message to a recipient. Okay, so now who is sender? He is the person who is going to organize, who is going to compose, who is going to write, who is going to speak, or who is going to start communication, whom we call sender. We can say that sender is a person who is going to start communication. After that, we have message. This refers to the information that the sender is reeling relying to the receiver. Now, what is message? Actually, whatever which comes in our mind, we want to deliver the idea, the information we want to send another, we want to send to sender. This is receiver. Sorry, not sender but receiver. This is called our message, because this is the thing just because of whom we are going to communicate. So basically, message is our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings, or our information which we want to send. After that, we have communication, channel of communication. This is the transmission or method of delivering the message. Now, basically, what is channel of communication? This is, we can say, thing through which we are going to communicate. For example, we can communicate face to face, we can communicate through mobile, we can communicate through laptop, computer. These all are the a medium, or I would rather say channel of communication. For example, if you are communicating with your mobile, now the mobile is going to connect with another mobile. This is also communication. This is also an interaction. This is also transmission of ideas. After that, decoding. Now basically this is a summary. This is the interpretation of the message. Now basically interpretation means the summary. Okay. Now, actually, this process is done by the receiver. Decoding is performed by the receiver. Now, see, decoding is the summary. Whatever you have sent to someone, now it is the responsibility of receiver that he have to decode it. He have to understand that what you have sent to him. After that, we have receiver. The receiver is the person who is getting or receiving the message. Okay. Now, for example, I have written something in my mobile. Now I have to send this to someone. Now, after sending, after delivering, now the person who is going to get my message is known as receiver. It means this is the person, this is the person whom you want to communicate, whom you want to send your information. Okay. After that, feedback. Now feedback is the most important factor of this whole communication process. In some instance, the receiver might have feedback or response for the sender. Okay, this starts an instruction. Now, for example, if you have sent something to a particular person, to a receiver, now receiver have understood that whatever you send, now he is going to reply you, he is going to respond to you. This is feedback. For example, if I am going to deliver my lecture to my students, now after delivering my lecture, my presentation, I will ask some questions that whether whatever I talked about, whatever I delivered, my students have got or not. So this is actually feedback. Now the students, those students who will answer me, are the students will answer me. That sir, you were talking about this, you were talking about that. This is feedback from the student side. Okay, we can say this is feedback. Okay. After that, we have communication types. So basically communication has three main types. The first one is verbal, non-verbal, and written communication. Now what is verbal communication? Let's see. Verbal communication is the use of words to convey a message. For example, basically verbal means oral communication. Means orally whatever we are communicating with our friends, our boss, our superior, our junior, everyone whom we are going to communicate orally. Means we are not using any kind of written material. We are just communicating with the help of our mouth. Okay, this is our verbal communication. After that, we have non-verbal communication. So now what is it? Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is the transmission of message or signal through a non-verbal platform such as eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, postures, and body languages. It means in this communication we are not using our we can say mouth. We are not using any oral communication. We are just using our gestures, postures. Now, actually, what are gestures and postures? These are the body movement. For example, if a teacher is going to deliver his presentation, his I would rather say his lecture to his students, then he might use his hands for the sake of to make his students understand that where what actually I am talking about. For example, if you asked someone asked you that would you like to drink water, you just rotate your head to answer him that no, I am not needed of water. This is actually non-verbal communication. It means in this we are not only using a non-verbal, we are not using any kind of verbal or written communication. In this, we are just only using our body gestures, postures, and we can say our body movement to ask someone that what I am talking about. For example, you want to give someone that you want someone to give lift. Now, what will you do? You will raise your thumb up. It means you are asking him to give lift. Now you haven't speak a little bit, a little word, but you you communicated with your we can say the person whom you want to get lived. Okay, after that we have written communication. Now written communication, as its name clear itself, that written communication is an written message that two or more people exchange. Okay, written communication is typically more formal but less efficient than oral communication. So in retail communication, it means that we are going to communicate with someone with the help of writing. For example, we have written a letter to someone. Okay, we have written a text message. We have written many books. Actually, books are also comes in written communication. So this is called written communication. Now, written communication is not as good or as efficient as the verbal communication or oral communication is, because verbal communication is the direct. We can say verbal communication, with the help of verbal communication, we can direct send our message to anyone, but in written communication it is difficult. And basically written communication is formal because we use very gentle and formal words to communicate. Okay, so these were some types of communication. After that we have dimensions of communication. Now basically dimension and types are two different things. Types means uh, through which things you want to communicate. You want to communicate with your writings, with your speaking, with your gestures, postures. But in dimension it means in which directions your communication is going to flow. For example, there are three dimensions of communication: vertical, horizontal, and diagonal. What happens in vertical? Vertical communication is communication that flows up and down. Not only up and down, but it also flows from down to up, the organizations. Okay, now basically it is a communication which flows up to down and down to up in an organization, for usually along the chain of command or formal reporting lines. For example, if I have an issue, I will ask to my superior, and he will ask to his superior, and he will ask to, and his superior will ask to his boss. This is basically a vertical communication in which you are communicating with the help of a chain. And for example, now this was the down to upward. Now upward to down. For example, your boss has something, some information to uh, he has some information for his employees. He will ask to his I would rather say that manager of that office, that organization. The manager will ask their employees, and the employees will ask. See? So basically this is the whole communication or vertical communication. It means in which you are bounded with a chain. You have to communicate in chain. You have to ask your superior will ask to his superior will ask to his boss. This is how actually the vertical communication works. So after that we have horizontal communication, sometimes called literal communication, because it is in this communication we will communicate with our mates, with our fellows. Okay, see, horizontal communication is the communication that occurs between people at the same level in an organization. For example, if I am a teacher, now I am communicating with other teachers who are also of same rank. So this is called our horizontal communication, because in this we are not following any kind of chain to communicate. We are just formally communicating with one another. After that, we have diagonal communication. Diagonal communication is a direct dialogue between employees of different ranks who are not in the same chain of command. Okay, so basically, in diagonal communication, we are communicating directly to someone. For example, if we are directly communicating with our boss is directly communicating with us, and diagonal communication can be communicated in different directions. We are not bounded with any particular direction. We can directly communication with our boss, we can direct communication with our HOD of department, we can direct communicate with our vice chancellor. So it means that in this we are not bounded, we can communicate in any direction. Okay, So in this video we have discussed regarding communication, communication process, types of communication and dimension of communication. Still, if you have any query, any question regarding uh, communication, you can comment. I will surely answer you. So if you like the video, then please like, share and subscribe the channel. And in the last, I just want to say that thanks for watching. Thank you very much.